Secretary of Defense Ash Carter, the secretary, sat down with us inside the Pentagon for his first interview since the Paris terror attacks, amid the calls for a stronger response from the Obama administration.
How can you assure the American public that there is indeed a strategy and that the leadership role America is taking in the fight against ISIS fully addresses the threat that it poses?
We have to defeat ISIL. We will defeat ISIL. You see the barbarism associated with this. So it is something that must be defeated.
So you agree with the French president that we're at war?
Yeah,
with ISIS.
I think Francois Hollande has said it very well. I'm glad the French are galvanized and joining the fight now. What we're doing is, just to remind you, is to the Secretary of Defense, we are fighting every day. We have 3,500 people, remind you, on the ground in Iraq. We're flying air sorties every day, which are very intense, very effective, and we're constantly innovating in how we're using them. We're starting to go after fuel convoys now, which is something we've figured out how to do because ISIL uses the oil infrastructure as a way to raise money. We took out Jihadi John. We took out the head of ISIL in Libya. We're running raids like the one that got Abu Sayyaf.
We hear complaints from inside the Pentagon that, yes, there are 8,000 sorties that are being flown, but the rules of engagement are so tight and so restrictive that 2/3 of those planes are coming back without using their ordinances. I know you've heard these complaints. Are the rules of engagement being loosened?
We're prepared to do that. We reviewed them all the time. Actually, if you look at the data, the thing that most enhances the impact of the air campaign is better and better intelligence. We're prepared to change rules of engagement. We've changed tactics, as we just did in the case of the fuel trucks, as you noticed. But just to go on.
Can you explain that? Explain that, because there had been hesitation to go after the fuel trucks. Why did you change the rules of engagement? Again, this happened before Paris. Why?
It did happen before Paris. The oil infrastructure is something that the civilian population benefits from as well. We don't want to punish people. So you have to, first of all, and this gets to intelligence, identify that part of the energy infrastructure which is being used by ISIL to finance their operations. So we had to identify that. And then you want to get a convoy when it's not in the middle of a town, when it's outside in the middle of the road. That takes intelligence.
Right.
And we're getting better and better at this every day. But so I'm describing all the things that we're doing, and I hope now, as a consequence of the Paris attacks, France has indicated a willingness to do more. I hope the European countries do more than they have done so far.
We want to talk about the force of the future. Tell us what you envision and what needs to be changed.
Well, just amidst all the swirl of current events, I, as Secretary of Defense, also need to cast my mind down the road to my successor and my successor's successor, because we're going to be around for a long time as a country. We're going to have a leading role in the world. We're going to need to protect our people. And today, I have the finest fighting force the world has ever known. That's what I've been given by my predecessors. And what I need to do is make sure that we leave a force as fine in the future. And the key to that is people. People think of our technology when they think of what makes the American military great. That's important too. But the really important thing, the central thing, is the people. So that means making sure that we continue to attract the best people from both young people coming in as service members, and that we're also tapping the talent from society as a whole to the defense mission. And so I talk about on-ramps. How do we get people who are outside, our most innovative people, from what is, after all, the world's most innovative culture? Maybe they don't want to serve in uniform. Maybe they don't want to be in government. Maybe they don't want to serve their whole lives. But they're people who like to make a difference. They want to do something of consequence. I'd like to get them in just for a while to work on one project, bring their skills in for a time so that there are ways that people can get in and contribute. The other way around also is off-ramps, so that our superb people in uniform and our civilians have opportunities to further their education, to stay in touch with cutting-edge skills, to do things that people want to do. They want to have families, they want to get a degree, and so forth. So if we don't keep up with the times and understand how people are changing and how they want a different kind of career, we're not going to have the best in the future. It's my job to make sure
it's fascinating. When I was in law school, I remember going to a recruiter and say, listen, I want a law career, but I'd love to go in, serve my country for a couple of years and come out and start. And they said, no, you can't do it. There's the commitment. And of course, the military much better off not getting me in there. But there are some people, though, who might want to give 2 years.
Many people, they for a while and make a real contribution, even if only for a couple. So they're particular technological skills, particular management skills. We want top CEOs to come in, like Dave Packard, who was a predecessor of mine when I was deputy of Hewlett-Packard, major managerial and technical talent, who came in and enriched this place tremendously as a consequence. So we're strong the more we leverage off the strength of American society, and that's what we need to do.